Alright, welcome to episode 28 of History Rewritten. Last time, as you can see, the Indians colonized a lot of the Indian Ocean. They are all over Southeast Asia. They've been in lots of places for a while, but it looks a lot more explored. We got more people in South America, so there's now 4 nations here. There's more nations in North America, and there'll be even more joining today. The green team is now massive. They're probably... I didn't do full power rankings, but of course, Lime number 1, Sludge is number 2, number 3 goes to the blue team, number 4 now I think will go to the green nation, just because there's like 3 different trade route areas, like lines that go through their country. Because there's Northern Europe to the steppes, it doesn't quite look like that, but you know what I mean. There's this one that curls up around here, and there's one that goes through Caucasia. So each of those ones runs through the green team, and they're making a lot of money. Also, might, to be honest, doubt that one. The one that goes to India probably doesn't go through their country though. But money. They also control the Caspians. So that's fun. And also the brown team disappeared, which was a heinous lie. Yes, you heard me right. I lied right to your face, as I do in most episodes, because I said that they were not coming back. But I lied, because the brown team's back. They settled themselves down around this random lake in the middle of Russia. Oh yes, the brown team's back, and they're hungry for vengeance. So a few nations are quite surprised by the fact that the brown team has redeclared itself, seeing as they thought the entire country was dead. But I did mention, I put significant emphasis on the fact that lots of brown team people went north into Crimea, the Grey Country, Sludge Team, these countries, all that stuff. So listen to what I'm saying, because then otherwise you'll miss stuff. Anyway, this country, because a lot of these old countries have pretty bad leadership, like the Sludge Nation. So did the brown country here. However, their monarch and their leader got killed, which means that they've had to elect a new one. So, when you're electing a new person, you usually elect someone who's really charismatic, and that is exactly what happens this time. This highly charismatic peasant is elected as the new king of the brown country. He never had much potential when he was some random peasant. However, now, this man is in control of Russia. Well, not all of Russia. It's more like Muscovy, but who cares? And he's highly charismatic, so he's inspiring lots of people to make the brown nation as powerful as it used to be, which is like a top 10 nation. They were a very consistent nation as well, until now, in which now they're pretty poor. At the moment, who knows what could happen. Some countries, they've seen this rapid expansion the man's making with his country, because people need places to live, and they're kind of worried this entire Russian area might disappear. So a few nations are going to get in on expanding their area around here slightly, because they do have more things to worry about than this guy does. So the Grey Nation, who's been doing a significant amount of expansion recently, I think they did some in the last episode. Now they look a lot more like an animal. The Crimean Nation will do some expansion. They are pretty far away from Crimea now, but as well as the Sludge Nation, of course, who, this kind of isn't the best idea for them to go with. I mean, because their leadership at the moment is atrocious. Their leaders are all very corrupt. It's slightly sort of like oligarchical. That's right, that's a word. There's oligarchies and stuff. So it's all very corrupt within the leadership of the Sludge Nation, and lots of people don't like the Sludge Nation leadership, and they're kind of hoping they're all going to cock it, because that means they'll get new ones. This Red Nation also just expands north. I just thought I'd do it whilst we were in Far Eastern Europe. This is very Far East. And now we need to sort out a load of countries. So, Orange Nation. They will be expanding slightly. They're not very rich, they don't make that much money, but they do control Angria-ish. They've got that bit over there. This is the Druidic Nation, who's been modernizing slightly recently. You know, they've kind of got some things that most advanced nations in the world have at the moment, so that's cool. However, they're still not quite up there. They're not a very powerful nation, and they do have a coastline, so that's something. But they're trying. They've got less theology within their country. They are focusing more on, you know, social, economic, military, that sort of stuff. The sludge nation has a lot of grievances with countries. They would like to invade a lot of places. And some countries that they even regard as their allies, they'd like to invade. Like Crimea, because Crimea, they do a lot of trade with Crimea, however they're not very nice to the Crimeans. So, it's a weird mix for that. But there you go. Eastern Europe looks different, some larger countries. The sludge nation is very long. I think, by a pretty long shot, however, India's the largest nation in the world. They go all the way from Iran to nearly Bangladesh. And they also have their colonies, and if you don't count that, they're probably still the largest. But with their colonies, I'd say they definitely are. Actually, maybe Norway. Well, I don't think so, but Norway's big. Anyway, this is not just it though, however. Damn it. For the brown country, as they will expand some more, even though I quite like the hedgehog borders. They look quite cool. They will expand slightly more, just going out and around into Russia. As you do, it's only freezing cold. But this is quite interesting, however, as lots of green team culture is still prevalent within the country, despite, you know, they don't really like the green team, seeing as the green team literally just destroyed them last time. But they have the same culture, same religion, similar culture, same religion, however, and now that's in Siberia, so this isn't Siberia, but nobody cares. They're also going to do some more expansion, so they can link up with actual countries and get borders and stuff. So there you go. They've also expanded south quite a lot, because expanding south is warmer than expanding north, and that's important. So, yeah, they have, it's probably been about like 10 years, and that's longer than I thought. 5 years or something, but they're already a very large country, and there's not a lot of countries in Russia. So I'm just going to put it out there. They have lots of potential. Anyway, another country who's got lots of potential is Japan. Pretty much every episode since their creation, the Japanese lilac country has been going to war, and that will not stop today, as the Japanese country declares war on the purple one and eradicates them within like a month. So, boom, they're gone. It's a pretty united looking Japanese island. Another country of potential, however, is Korea. Korea has been pretty silent since they got. They can't expand anywhere in Asia. I did mention there'd be Asian nations colonizing, and I wasn't lying, as the Koreans make their way across the Pacific. Well, not really, they kind of go up here, but then they travel south into slightly warmer waters, where they will create their first American colony. So this colony is made on this random freezing island, and they eventually carry on heading south. I love this coast. Cascadia looks so cool, and I think it actually does look cool, until they arrive at what I believe is Vancouver Island. I think there's a place called Victoria down here. There's like an American-Canadian border dispute over some of these islands. Oversimplified. Didn't they have that one oversimplified? Am I dreaming it? I'm pretty sure this is Vancouver Island, where I think the capital of British Columbia is, which is interesting. Do you know when they discovered British Columbia, the Russians and the Spanish were the ones who fought over it? And then the British went in and named it British Columbia because we colonized it. But, I mean, I just get so annoyed. These guys, I'm trying to think where they want to go. They do a bit of expansion around here in northern USA and southern Canada. So, It's a pretty large-ish colony. It's their first colony here. We might update that later. Crikey, that's a large colony for arriving here a year ago. Might update them later. The greenish blackish country doing some expansion too, as they curl up this Alaskan area and curl around this peninsula and also a bit further, and then we're going to redo that border, even though it won't really matter. I want to redo it. Nice. Neither of these, I mean, the Korean country is very strong. Well, not very strong, but they're up there. I think I probably need to evaluate power rankings again, because I don't know, I think I'm underestimating a significant amount of countries. Probably I would definitely say top 3 are India. I might stick with my top 5. But number 6, I think, would have to go to North China, then Korean probably, then the Orange country, maybe the Terracotta Nation, and it might even be Grenada. Grenada's pretty strong. They've got a lot of different resources and places to grow stuff, and I did talk about their trade routes in a different episode. And then beyond that, probably some other European powers like Norway, Britain, Ireland, France, maybe Yellow Team, there we go. And other than those guys, there's not really many other strong. Oh, and Iberia. Yeah, the Iberian ones are strong. The Egyptian countries, meh. Ethiopia's okay. Oh, and Greece and Crete, they're pretty up there. Like top 15, I think. I will have to actually like write down some power rankings. Oh, Japan somewhere. Japan's probably Japan and Crete. I think Japan maybe is slightly stronger than Crete. They're probably equals at the moment. However, with Japan landing in America, Japan might zoom up a bit. And yeah. Who's that? I just forget that Norway went to the Bahamas. Oh. So yeah, Japan's made a landing in Mexico, which is actually probably a first time for me saying that sentence. So that's cool. Koreans in Vancouver Island. We've got the Amurs. I've probably actually said that sentence. Damn it. Anyway, yeah, so the Japanese. Is this not low? No. Actually, the Japanese are going somewhere else first, as they discover the islands of Hawaii. So, Japanese colonies are created all along the Hawaiian Islands. Nice. And then they make their landing in Mexico. Sorry, that's good. I'm really bad at clicking. I think I've never played Cookie Clicker. That's pretty irrelevant, however. There you go. Japanese colony. Nice. We'll see how that expands in the future. The Terracotta Nation is doing more expansion of their island colonies. So Hispaniola and Puerto Rico will expand slightly. Well, not slightly. All of Hispaniola is now owned by the Dutch. Didn't see that one coming. And I created the Terracotta Nation in episode 3. The weird thing to think about is that the Terracotta and the Sludge Nation both were made by groups of people who fled from the Yellow Nation. Like, look how far they've gone now. It looks so different from episode 3. When those people fled from the Yellow Country. But it's quite cool. Anyway. We need to do some other people's stuff as well. He says, doing absolutely nothing. He's getting colours up. That's what he's doing. You can see in the top bit. So, Britain will colonise the rest of this Canadian bit. Whatever this is called. Nice. And they're also going to move further down south into America. And like Virginia, Carolina, that bit. What's that? Connecticut. That's an American state. somewhere over here. Yeah. American geography, guys. I'm good at that. No, I'm appalling. And states, I could tell you some stuff. Probably say like a basic thing about each state. Oh, this one's cold. There's no one in Wyoming. There's a volcano in Wyoming. In Yellowstone. Because we watched a documentary about it in geography. Because geography's cool. I mean, I've been told you don't watch many documentaries in GCSE stuff. So that's damn it! That's a shame. Yeah, me being annoyed about not watching documentaries. Where did I break the border? Where? Right over here. Like a random lake. Anyway, so the British have managed to connect up with the Great Lakes. That's the Great Lakes, right? And the Terracotta Nation will be expanding further north. I did not forget about Ireland, don't worry. Up here. So they're kind of moving just ahead of the pink French nation, who's moving further south recently. That's their main occupation. So, there you go from their colony. They may eventually meet up with the Japanese Mexican colony. Just gonna put that out there. Who knows? Am I right? Who really knows what the future's gonna hold? Hopefully faster colonization, because I feel like these guys taking a pretty long time about it. I don't know if you've got... I don't know when to do it right, because I might just have some random episodes where I need to do something important, but then I need other stuff to happen in that episode than just like one event. I've got a lot of events though, so... Yeah, the Irish nation will expand along this bit of the northern coast of Canada, Quebec. I mean, northern coast of Canada, it's an island. So they go for Ireland. I don't know, that confused me. Now I need to do these stupid Iberian nations. It's gonna take a while, unfortunately. Boom. And boom. Why did I make all these ones so difficult? That is a cool looking colour. You can't see it, but it looks cool. So, oh yeah, I remember now. This one, and we've also got the blue one. So there's only 4 nations in South America, but there's an awful lot more in North America. Yeah, that's just how it's turned out, I suppose. So the Iberian Purple Nation are actually expanding pretty quickly through Brazil, as they add more areas of the northern coast of Brazil to their pretty large colony. However, I mean, if you look at other colonies from like the Spanish and the Portuguese in Brazil and South America, they were a lot quicker than this. However, these colonies are much more settled than the other Iberians colonies. There's a lot more people in lots of these colonies along the coast and stuff, so you've got to take that into consideration. However, yeah, this is pretty fast, I would say. The Galapagos have probably been discovered now, so that's cool. And people have definitely circumnavigated the globe. Actually, maybe not. I'd say so. Yeah, I think, at least South America, they know the entire coast of that. Not very well, but they do know it. And North America, I think it's just California they're working on, and the northern stuff. But this is alright, Ushuaia, all that. Down with the blue team. These guys are doing pretty well with their colonization as they move further into Uruguay. So they've got a nice, pretty large colony. I have to see how that goes for them. As they're currently the number 3 nation in the world. They've got the bronze medal at the moment, and we'll just see how that evolves. because this colony can really boost them ahead. I don't know at which point the colonies start making these countries extremely powerful, because when do you grow enough sugar and tobacco and stuff like that you become extremely powerful? Oh, I'm out. And also Granada, of course. I can't forget about Granada. These guys are kind of funny. They've had an interesting time. They haven't really done much, but I quite like them. In a way. I'm not sure that people in their country are the best people. Yeah, just gotta put that out there. Not great people in the Granadan country. Nah, don't worry. They're nice people, probably. It's just the conflict with the Moroccans and stuff. So they've got a pretty nice northern coast colony. And there's still a few more countries who are thinking about trying to join the colonial race. We'll have to see what happens with that in a future episode. The Indians have recently been doing a lot of expansion, and they're going to continue that as they eventually partition up. Yeah, don't worry, I'm getting all colours. That's why you can't see anything. Well, you can. I'm not doing anything. They partition up Southeast Asia with the other countries here. So let's get around to that. Should it have happened earlier? Honestly, I thought it would happen a lot later than what we're having at the moment. So the Indians will take a pretty large chunk out here in Thailand to add to their Saigon colony. The Vietnamese will take a bit, and the rest will go to the Myanmars. The Myanmars will also take, I'm not sure I'm saying that right, but it's a fun word, this northern bit of this peninsula here. So they've grabbed out some land, and ultimately it's a pretty good deal for each of the countries. Where the Indians actually let them take territory. That's the most amazing part. So, yeah. The Vietnamese country is pretty large now. Not very strong, but they're large. So that's cool. But who knows, somebody might invade them sometime soon. I'm just putting words out there. Somebody could come along and invade them, but somebody could come along and invade every single country, so who knows. Anyway, speaking of China, the Chinese, or the North Chinese country, will be making a landing in the northern Philippines, where they make a pretty large colony. It's just that northern island. I was considering doing it slower, but really there's no need. And the Indians will take over the rest of Sabah. That's the northern province. North Borneo. Or the Malaysian Borneo, I mean. I believe, and also more Java. They're getting pretty far into Indonesia now. They've nearly arrived at Sulawesi. They probably know it exists. Sulawesi's this thing. But they've got a lot more to go. And I mean, when they discover Australia, they're just like, crikey. Send all of our prisoners here? Great. I did mention the Indian population is extremely high. At the moment, there's a lot of money. Lots of people have moved to India from surrounding nations, and also a lot of people from Europe as well. But yeah, they're also going to be colonizing further areas of the Philippines. Damn it. Some areas of the Philippines for themselves, because, they can't let the Chinese take everything. So this entire southern island will be theirs, and we'll check back on the Philippines in a future episode. They're also going to be expanding their little Madagascar colony. But we need to go check on another country, I think. Oh my god. That's like 4 times in this episode that I've just clicked on the ocean and turned it into a different colour. I'm getting really good at this after 28 episodes. But yeah, other country we need to go check on. The one that probably the coolest about this episode is the Brown Nation, as they're expanding even further through this area. They've got a lot of Russia now. It's probably now been... Oh, is that the one I used before? It's interesting. It's probably now been about 10 years or so. Or they're about by the end of this episode, they'll be in 1625, I think. That's about the year. I mean, the year itself, like technologically, they'll be in that year. Equivalent. Because, of course, their years won't be exactly the same as ours, I don't think. Their inventions will come at the same time. They're probably in about... they're probably pretty close. They're probably like 1550 in their time. But equivalent, they're in 1625 at the end of the episode. However, the most exciting bit isn't these guys expanding, it's the fact that Sludge Nation's going to collapse. So that expansion kind of just was the end of it for some people. They were like, dude, I've had enough. Sorry. You're terrible at leading a country. You shouldn't have a country to lead because you have such bad leaders. Just make people work all the time, and it's just like all the people with money get to do whatever they want. And if you don't have money, like, you don't get to do anything. People can just decide what happens to you. So I don't know why the Norwegians don't have a city or two here. They definitely should. So I've made them like a capital. So this is going to cause, boom, these guys to collapse. So rebel groups are going to appear all over Estonia and stuff. Because, you know, the Estonians kind of had their own nice country thing going on before. They broke away from the Shaman nation. But now this entire eastern area is going to go up in rebellion. Because, you know, they expanded into that bit recently. And there's a lot of workers who've been sent there. We see this western area go up. This is a pretty rich, nice area. And it's been... However, it really borders the Terracotta and the Pink Nation, who've been funding rebellions in the area because they don't like the Sludge Nation very much. You know, Terracotta and Sludge used to get on pretty well. However, now they've really distanced themselves from each other, and it's not as good a relation as it used to be. So the Sludge Nation will make a push into the western areas of this rebellion, and it's really easy going. I'm just going to show it like this because it might go back up in rebellion. But they've managed to recapture that, and now they're going to push towards Estonia. So they make some advances towards these cities up here. However, it's not quite as easy as that, as they only managed to push a pretty small way. And there's a lot of people here, and another nation has actually joined this war against the Sludge Nation, and that nation is the Druidic country. They've been doing a slight bit of stuff with their military, however they still have a pretty fair amount of berserkers, so that's not good. However, these guys can't stop a Sludge team advance into their country, and they managed to lose some land. Their entire eastern bit, no, there's nothing there, except for a few tribes and stuff. So this Sludge team has a pretty easy time going through that area, pushing up from their southern occupied territory to try and take down the Druidic country. So let's see how that occurs. However, another rebellion group will appear in this southern bit, right by this once rebellious group, which manages to link up and they liberate the capital of this chunk from the control of the Sludge Nation. So that's cool. New rebellion front. However, they have managed to take over this whole eastern area that's reintegrated back into their country. They're pretty spread pretty thin. So over in the west, they managed to capture the Kaliningrad area, and also this other western chunk. The people back in Estonia have managed to advance their front back down south, and the Druidic country is just kind of defending a bit. You know, saying they're defending is kind of lying, because they're not really doing that much to defend. Instead, they're going to focus their stuff away from this bit, because there's not much funding there, towards the west, where they push against these few areas. They find a few pink team troops in there, and they're kind of like, dude, you messed with the wrong second strongest country in the world. Let me tell you. So the pink team kind of realizes they messed up slightly. However, the Terracotta Nation's kind of like, right, Bring it on. Obviously we're going to lose this war, but bring it on, mate. So these two nations are both getting in the war. Actually, no. Only the pink team. However, the pink team has their capital right next to the border of the sludge nation. So it's not too long before their entire capital bit will collapse. And now they're really not having a great time, as the sludge team makes some pretty good advances into their territory. So that's not fun. The southern areas of this bit are pushed back. However, they don't find any terracotta troops, so they're kind of just like, must be pink team people there. The Estonians, or the Druidic country, has managed to push out some of the troops from there, but it doesn't really matter. But this front over in the east has advanced significantly, so now this bit is sandwiched between two different fronts, and the troops are kind of trapped, which means that all the people are forced to leave the Druidic country. They are surrounded like this, and then taken out. So that's pretty good. And now the Druidic country has all their stuff back. They managed to make a new push into the eastern areas of the country, uniting forces with the Estonians, and they managed to connect these two bits of territory. That's going pretty well. The Estonians take another major city and a huge swathe of territory, advancing them closer to the capital of the sludge nation. There's so many countries I need to keep track of here. It's pretty tricky. However, over in the west, the sludge nation has managed to push back this advance quite significantly, and they're pushing even further into the pink country and capture yet another huge load of their land. So maybe this wasn't a good idea for the pink country, fund a giant rebellion. However, another kind of like pink team ally, the light blue country, will join this war, which, I mean, dude, stop putting your capital right on the border of the sludge nation. They send some reserve troops over and quickly take this bit out, which, might not be a wonderful idea for these guys, as you may see in the future. The troops will manage to push in further into the northern area of this country. However, by then they encounter some resistance. They manage to take out the pink country, so they're eliminated from this war, but they do have to worry about the eastern onslaught that's coming their way. That was a fun sentence. As they're getting pretty close to the capital, however, this huge advance is pushed back as they turn their attention further towards, this eastern bit. It's pretty tricky to deal with all this stuff. They're taking more provinces from the light bluish dark country. Yeah, light bluish dark country. I'm good at this. Because that's nice. And they're pushing back this front, and it looks like they might even re-separate it, except for the fact yet another country is joining this war, and that country is Sweden. So Sweden will make a landing by one of these major cities, and helping the rebellious people who were here before, they managed to do pretty well in really disorientating the sludge team. They didn't expect the Swedes to come and join in this war, but they have now. And so is another country, or two, as the sludge nation and the Crimean nation join this war, just as the sludge team takes out this light blue dark country. Crimea will come right back in and liberate some of these provinces, including the capital, because the light dark blue country has been around for a significantly long amount of time now, so their culture is slightly different from the Crimean country. However, there are still some similarities, and they do bear allegiances together. It's like some old alliance thing that people don't really focus on anymore, but it is still there. So they work together to do this, and the terracotta nation is going to carry on work to liberate more provinces of the pink country, which they succeed in. So this entire western part of the country is freed, and now they're working their way towards taking some of the eastern areas. The rest of the terracotta army and the Swedish army is working towards, finally they liberate this bit, working towards taking more western areas of the country. And now, once again, the Sludge Nation has to change their focus, because over in the west there's a lot of troops now. This is not going well for them. They didn't really have any allies or anyone who was prepared to go and help them. So Crimea is moving up now to help the eastern forces. It's not looking good, as the entire light blue dark country is liberated, and they even start making a push into Sludge Team territory. So, you know, it's not going amazingly. The people managed to circle around more and more into these areas. However, they defended the coast quite well, at least the Latvian part, until finally the borders end up looking something like this, and the Sludge Team will agree to peace. So let's have a look at this peace treaty, shall we? Nope. Might see some pretty old returning countries come back, because there's been a considerable amount that have been in this area. Old countries. See, what I really want to do is just stick all these bits back together, because none of these front lines look any good. We're just slamming them onto countries. So give me a sec while I just do that. Boom, boom. Okay, maybe it looks really cool, but it's going to be a lot of division, as another country was actually funding some of the rebellions. They didn't join the war, but they were funding it. And that country, interestingly enough, was the one that in a major way, destabilized the Sludge Nation, and made people realize that their leadership wasn't amazing. And in fact, the leadership of some random peasant from Caucasia was significantly better. And that country was the Brown country, who's now Russian, interestingly enough. As they've been funding this war, the Druidic country kind of respected their highly religiousness. You know, the Caucasian nation is very religious, as is the theocratic Druidic country. Anyway, these borders don't look amazing. Some weird blobs. But there you go, let's divide up the Sludge Nation between external powers. So first of all, the Terracotta Nation will be stealing away from some territory right over here. The Swedes will be making a slight colony in this northern area. The Pink country will be annexing some stuff right here. Interesting enough, the Yellow country actually borders them. Crimea will be annexing some stuff from this bit. Oh, damn it. I got rid of that other light blue dark country. They get a border rework. I'm not quite sure how they looked, but it was something like this. But I actually destroyed them. Oh no. Of course there's going to be a new... Oh! I destroyed more than one country actually. I'm good at this. Right, so the Druidic country also gets a border rework. They look something like this. I'm not going back and redrawing those borders. No. We get a new nation over there. A new nation is created right around here. This is not a new nation, that's the Reborn Sludge Team. This new nation's made. You receive a new nation over here and another one over there. So let's have a look at these actual finalized borders. It's a lot of drawing lines and then getting rid of lines. But the Terracotta Nation's pretty happy with the outcome of this, as they've eradicated their biggest rival. Sweden. This is Sweden. There we go. So Sweden has their colony. The Pink country. They were like this. Yeah, they were. Cool. And they grab up their nice bit of land. They've actually been in more wars than I expected them to be in, because of course they took out that Finnish country, if you remember, Swiss country, if you remember before, with the help of like 5 other nations who were just joined in to destroy some random Swiss thing over here. Crimea, of course, they're getting some land. And this stuff was the stuff that was originally in rebellion at the start, I think. However, lots of that was in favour of rejoining the Crimean country. Just joining it, not rejoining it. Can't really tell how much these guys have gained, but I think they've gained quite a lot. They look very different now. The Sludge Nation, of course, will still stay out here. Now, it's not the same as it used to be. Let me tell you. Druidic country, I think they've got a bit more land. If you remember before, there was a light blue country out here, so we're going to add them back. I'm not sure that's where they were, but it's not quite where they were, I don't think. That's the right colour as well, I believe. And we need to get that Estonian one, because I really like those guys. And I made a vow that I'd return them to life. If I can find them. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Where were they? Do I know them in my notes? My giant list of stuff. I don't think I do. Oh well, I'll work it out. It doesn't really matter. They were something like this. That looks good. Yeah, so they're there. They're back, which is cool. And now we have 3 other new countries. So, they're not all going to be new. Some of them are returning countries. Because we have... Should I do it? Do I want to return that country? And they're on the map now. So, you remember that kind of... Actually, no. No, I've changed my mind. You don't remember it. Nobody remembers it. We have this country appearing. New state number 1. They are kind of based in Kaliningrad. New state number 2 is quite under the influence of the Crimean countries. You know, Crimean country, but who cares? And also Sweden partially. I'm just trying to find the right blue. What's a good blue for these guys? Yeah, this will do. So there they are, and this one is pretty religious, I would say. So we're going to stick them with this colour. So there are our 3 new nations, and as you can see, it's been a pretty wild ride of stuff that's happened now. Because the Sludge team, which used to be the 2nd strongest nation at the beginning of this episode, is now pretty much just reduced to a tiny, tiny country in the middle of nowhere. And also, Sweden has a colony, which kind of inspired the Swedish, which might be pretty cool, because people are getting quite interested in Africa because of trade with India, and also nobody knows anything about Africa. But there you have it. I just wanted to add that in, and I've realised we've gone to like the 43 minutes now. But there you go. New borders of Eastern Europe. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I quite enjoyed doing some stuff here. Brown Nation's back. Sludge Team's dead. North Africa is the 2nd strongest country in the world. That's cool. Like, subscribe. Have a nice rest of your day. Goodbye.